Hi, this is Beto. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about your child going to school. And for some children, it's going to be a very life-changing experience. Um, if the child, of course, has siblings, well, it makes it a lot easier because a lot of children, when they have an older brother or sister, they too want to go to school way before. They'll be asking you, take me to school, I want to go to school too. And so that makes it a lot easier to transition into that kind of situation. However, sometimes this may be the only child in the family, the first one to go to school, and so what we need as a parent to do is we need to be proactive. If your child is going to be going to school in a few months or so forth, it would be good to show your kid around the school, take them to see the outside of the school. I'm very very cheerful. Say, hey, well, look at your school. That's going to be your school. How nice. Make it seem like it's enjoyable to you, so the child will pick up the same vibes. Um, and if possible, talk to the school about letting you come in, take a tour of the school, maybe meet his teacher, um, walk him around the schoolyard, um, spend some time in around the buildings, look in the cafeteria and so forth. Of course, the same thing happens if the child's going to be taking a bus. Have them look at the bus, maybe even able to step inside the bus, so that the child has some familiarity as to what's going to be occurring once school starts. The If you are going to have your child go into the classroom, you may want to volunteer if possible. Um, of course, you have to be careful that you don't interfere with what the teacher is doing. So it'd be good to get involved also with the schools, as in the PTA or whatever organization. There is one fantastic research done on what helps kids be successful, and it is parenting involvement. Kids that are born in in poverty more likely are going to grow up to be poor also. Kids that are born in well-to-do families are going to more likely grow up to be well-to-do. So the one key factor that seems, and this is a lot of good research, is that when you have parent involvement with a kid's school, with a kid education, it really provides that breakthrough to be able to get out of poverty. I realize that sometimes parents, especially a single parent, may not have the time and sometimes the energy to be, providing a lot of that help with the children. But you got to do the best you can. Get them involved in after-school programs, um, maybe even tutoring or whatever. But anything that can show to the child that you are very interested in his or her education. And that's going to be a very significant, important thing for your child to get out of poverty if you happen to be, unfortunately, in that situation. So, parent involvement. Um, uh, Sometimes kids are anxious about going to school, and this is where you can easily talk about stuff, what's going to happen to school. A lot of times, what occurs in a lot of families that a lot of children have already known some of their numbers and colors and so forth because parents start teaching them preschool. There may be, in some games where the child will sit down with a parent and maybe count or maybe color, so that the child has had some already building skills. A lot of children already know some stuff about education. They probably maybe some of them might even know the whole ABCs, some songs and so forth. So you have to be very proactive and do things with your child prior to the child, going into school. Now, one of the problems that occurs is sometimes the parent, especially the mom, seems to be more nervous about the child going to school than the child. Have confidence in your child. trust that he or her is going to do well. And if you feel very anxious about, my kids going to school and so forth, remember that you're the one that's having the problem more than your child. Some kids are ready to go to school, but the moms are thinking, oh my God, what if doesn't like school, or what is this and what is that? So you make up your own, own stresses. So, be confident in your child. Now, if things do occur in school, it's a problem, the child doesn't like school, whatever, get involved, talk to a teacher. Um, Sometimes teachers will, and you have to realize that school personnel are really there to help you. You can't be fighting with them, saying, "Oh, how come my kid this, my kid that?" Trust that they're going to try and help you as much as they can with your child. So it's important to right away resolve the problems you're having with your child going to school. Whether they want to go to school, they don't like it, and so forth. Sit down with them, listen to what the problem is. Maybe some kids are nervous about going to school more than others. So sit down with them and say, okay, we'll explain, and maybe, like I said earlier, go with them to the class. Uh, Not all the time, but at least at the beginning, so the child feel comfortable, and praise them for, wow, you did good. Let me see your homework. How do you do in school, and so forth. Let them know that you're very interested in what they're doing in school. So again, I want to really emphasize the importance of your involvement with the school. It's going to be very important for your child to be able to succeed in life, to know that you care about him going to school, about his education, that you value, that as a way of bettering his life or her life. So uh, the schools are there to help you, and take advantage. They have school counselors, school social workers, nurses, whatever, and some kids are going to need special help, and that's okay. It's important to get things resolved as soon as possible, so that your kid has a better chance of succeeding in school. So again, be proactive. Take your kids around to the school uh, months before, you know, do that, so that the kid becomes familiar with what's going on in the classroom, so that it's not as frightening. And you're going to find that your kid chances are going to do very well. And most kids want to go to school. Most kids are anxious, especially when they're going shopping to buy their material. They're all excited, buy this, I want to take this, and so forth. Okay? So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you give this a thumbs up.